Welcome to the County of San Diego, Leon Williams, San Diego County Human Relations Commission. This as of March 22nd, 22. And now we will have roll call.
All right, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Anaya. Commissioner Arton. Vice Chair Arton.
Present. Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioner Kate Chasen. Commissioner Kate Clark. Commissioner Cinnamon Clark. Commissioner De Los Rios.
Good morning, present.
Good morning. Commissioner Desert.
Morning, present.
Good morning. Commissioner Elliott Santos.
Present.
Commissioner Evans.
Present.
Commissioner Farouk.
Present.
Commissioner Fowler.
Present.
Commissioner Garcias. Commissioner Garcias.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Gillies. Commissioner Griffin Jones. Commissioner Hassan. Commissioner Hodges.
Present.
Commissioner Ishmael.
Present.
Commissioner Corey.
Present.
Commissioner Legaspi.
Present.
Acting Sheriff Kelly Martinez.
Present.
Commissioner or Vice Chair Murray Ramirez.
Present.
Chair Nash.
Present.
Commissioner Perez. Commissioner Herminia Ramirez.
Present.
Commissioner Roberts.
Here, sir.
DA Summer Stephan.
Good morning, present.
Good morning, Yoli. Commissioner Villaforte.
Present.
All right, present and accounted for.
Great. So we'll now move to public comment.
And we had one member of the public who sent in an email to speak. I don't see them on the call, but we do have two members of the public with their hand raised, and we can allow them 2 minutes to speak if you like. All right, so we can start with Dr. Gerald Johnson.
God bless you all. Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. And we truly thank God for each and every one of you all who serve as commissioners in this wonderful, beautiful city. I represent the United African American Community. Hold on, I think I got two things running. Okay. I represent the United African American Ministerial Action Council as chairman, board members. We have a 28, 29-year history of there in the city of San Diego. We have countywide and nationwide, Southern California-wide recognition. We're here this morning just to relay that we support Pastor Dennis Hodges and all that he stands on. And I do support the positive human relations through inclusive dialogue and restorative practice. It's not hate. It's not anything that we would think. And you as commissioners, you serve because you have a heart for the city. And Pastor Dennis Hodges has had years of service, a board member for UAMIC, and we support him. We support every commissioner, and we support humankind, mankind. God gave us choice. We're not taking anybody's choices, but yet let's try and stand in the center as the commissioners that I know that you are. God bless you, and I don't want to get shut off.
Thank you. And the next member we have of the public that wishes to speak, I think it's Francine Maxwell.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning, Francine Maxwell, District 4. I want to ask that this commission have a conversation, a deeper dive about the bullying that takes place among you guys. The last meeting I attended, Commissioner Garcias made a statement, and then immediately a commissioner came back and said some disparaging comments about his comment. So you may want to do some self-reflection on what's going on in the allowed bullying. I'm also asking you to look at Lemon Grove. We have hate speech occurring, and we need to make sure that we encapsulate that hate speech so that we can begin the town halls and the restorative justice practices before something turns into a hate crime. So people have seen it, they've read it, it's on Facebook as it pertains to the only Black mayor in this region. And there's a conflict between the first Latina council member in Lemon Grove. So there's an opportunity for a commission named after an African-American icon, Leon Williams, who is inclusive, does not believe in cancel culture, and expects this commission named after him to get it right so that the community and the county and this region can get it right. So as we stated before, let's move past this. Let's have a healing circle, a restorative practice, and also do some self-reflection looking in your mirror about some of the bullying that's occurring between commissioner to commissioner, not on this one topic, but throughout the entire meeting. So once again, please do what you were positioned to do, which is move over to Lemon Grove, who desperately needs some help as it pertains to hate speech, and definitely coming together so that they can move the business of Lemon Grove. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a couple more folks have their hand up to speak. We have Aaron Meek Glass Blake.
Good morning. Thank you. I first of all want to thank the commission, and I believe it is the Code of Conduct and Policy Committee, I probably got the name wrong, for having the conversation pertaining to what is happening within our jail system. And many of the harms that are being done. And so I thank you for the conversation we had last week, and I'm looking forward to the work that's going to be done. And I commend you, commissioners. I also wanted to say, just pertaining to multiple different conflicts, really with this whole situation with Pastor Hodges and the commissioners who feel like they were harmed. I think what the Human Relations Commission is really experiencing is the very things that all of us are experiencing across this county and really across this country. And I think commissions like yourselves really have the opportunity to get it right. And if the commission cannot get it right, how does the commission expect for the rest of the county and ultimately the rest of the country to get it right? And so I always say conflict, when nurtured properly, produces growth. We have an opportunity to nurture this conflict properly and talk about the issues that impact us all, and really stop pushing people out and begin to pull people in and have inclusive restorative conversations to move forward in love and understanding. So thank you.
Thank you. We have one more hand up, Art Hodges.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear? Okay, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. The Board of Supervisors established the Leon Williams San Diego County Human Relations Commission on May 19, 2020, to promote positive human relations, respect, and the integrity of every individual, regardless of gender, religion, culture, ethnicity, sexual orientation, age, or citizenship status. This really will only be achieved by convening dialogue by and on differences of identities, values, and perspectives, working through these differences to promote positive human relations, and working to resolve profound societal issues to make San Diego County an even stronger community in which those with different identities, values, and perspectives interact express, and with tolerance, live together peaceably. Your bylaws as a commission state a goal, quote, to create a commission that is reflective of the demographics, diversity, and culture of San Diego County, including comprehensive representation of age, gender, socioeconomic status, ethnic background, culture, religion, sexual orientation, and geographical distribution, end quote. I'm asking the commission, please do not squelch voices, do not censor exchange of differing ideas or ideologies, do not cancel opinions expressed that differ from your own or maybe even a majority, but that do represent countless millions of Americans. I'm applauding Pastor Dennis Hodges for offering an alternative viewpoint in a spirit of tolerance concerning things he may not can conscientiously endorse, but every human being in our community has a right for their opinion to be considered and represented on and by the San Diego Human Relations Commission, certainly Christian pastors. Many, if not most, of Pastor Dennis Hodges' views are shared by hundreds of thousands of other pastors, priests, rabbis, clergy, along with millions of constituents whose identity, values, and perspectives also deserve to be heard and represented on our San Diego County Human Relations Commission. So I want to thank you for practicing inclusion and tolerance by valuing Pastor Dennis Hodges' service on this commission. And a thank you for this opportunity, Bishop Art Hodges. Thank you.
Thank you. No more hands to speak, Madam Chair. And with that, we can move to your first agenda item. Madam Chair, can you still hear me?
Yes,
Okay. So you wanted us to make sure we reflect on the Community Solidarity Day of Remembrance that happened last week on March the 14th in remembrance of the 1-year anniversary of the Atlanta spa shootings. So
Yes,
I want to,
excuse me. Yes, it's Commissioner Alex.
Commissioner Villaforte.
Thank you,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, can you share some words, please, with us?
Yes, definitely. Thank you, everyone, including Andrew Strong, for attending last week's event where we commemorated the 1-year anniversary of the spa shootings. And I'd like to actually first acknowledge a fellow commissioner who I consider to be a role model of mine for her decades-long activism as a transgender Asian Filipino woman, Commissioner Julia Gaspi. Her tireless efforts deserve to be uplifted during Women's History Month and before I talk about the next item. March 16th marks the 1-year anniversary of the tragic Atlanta spa shootings, where a domestic terrorist decided to blame his shortcomings and his fetishes on our community. And like so often happens in our country, took his guns and murdered 8 people, including 6 Asian women. All of this happening during a time when there's already so much to worry about, and Asian folks have been seeing a rise in xenophobia, hate, and violence. I like to say things have gotten better, but we all know they haven't. Our community is still anxious and scared as ever, as we continue to see violent attacks on our Asian elders and Asian women. Christina Yuna Lee was stabbed 40 times in New York City. Michelle Alyssa Go was shoved in front of a subway in New York City. And it's happening here as well. Just a few weeks ago, a friend of mine and a community member was shoved at a mall, called a commie, and told to go back to his country. A Coronado public employee had to resign for the same hate-filled language. We know hate speech and dehumanizing language can have deadly results. As Francine Maxwell said, hate speech can turn into hate crime. So when our community members are called abominations, chinks, commies, and other dehumanizing words, we must address it. Call it what it is, which is hate speech, and root it out. It hasn't been all terrible, as our API serving organizations nationwide have worked together to find ways to have a seat at the table so that we can best advocate for our community. That's what I hope to do here at this commission, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you for giving me some time.
Thank you. Agenda item 5, teleconferencing meeting option pursuant to Government Code, Section 54953, Article E.
I'd like, Commissioner Roberts, I'd like to make a motion.
Can we have some comments first?
I do have a comment. I'm
Yeah.
I am in favor of this. I had the situation yesterday where I had to go to a meeting in San Diego. And because of the construction on the 5 and the 805, I had to go 20 miles eastward into Escondido, take the 78, and then drive down to San Diego. And supposedly it was faster, but I was the last one to arrive at the meeting. So, and interestingly, at the meeting, a couple people were doing hybrid communication, which I didn't know was available at that time because they were experimenting. So I'm very much in favor of this. I live probably the furthest of anyone, and I'm just so paranoid about being able to get to a meeting, especially when we have 2 or 3 subcommittee meetings in a day. And then I have to go to another meeting up here in Oceanside. It's well, I'll use a hyperbole, but for me, it's traumatizing, you know, in terms of getting down San Diego, coming back up to Oceanside. I would love if we could do something with a little more flexibility. Actually, I would love for us to keep Zooming, but I can understand how people feel the need to be in person. Thank you. And I'll second the motion.
Thank you. So just for clarity, so the motion would be pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E3, a motion to 1, ratify the chair's previous determination letters. 2, find on behalf of itself and all committees, the commission has considered the circumstances of the state of emergency and state and local officials, continue to recommend measures to promote social distancing. And 3, direct the chair to review and make the required determinations as applicable to allow the commission to meet remotely at least every 30 days. So we have a motion and a second, and I will call the roll. Commissioner Anaya.
Aye.
Vice Chair. Oh, hey, how you doing, Pedro? Good to see you. Vice Chair Arton.
Aye.
Commissioner Kate Chason. Commissioner Kate Clark. Commissioner Cinnamon Clark. Commissioner De Los Rios.
Aye.
Commissioner Desert.
Aye.
Commissioner Elliott Santos.
Aye.
Commissioner Evans.
Aye.
Commissioner Farouk.
Aye.
Commissioner Fowler.
Aye.
Commissioner Garcias.
Aye.
Commissioner Gillies. Commissioner Griffin Jones. Commissioner Hassan.
Aye.
Commissioner Hodges.
Aye.
Commissioner Ismail.
Aye.
Commissioner Corey.
Aye.
Commissioner Legaspi.
Aye.
Commissioner Sheriff, Acting Sheriff Kelly Martinez.
Aye.
Commissioner Murray Ramirez.
Aye.
Too many R's. Chair Dash.
Aye.
Commissioner Perez. Commissioner Herminia Ramirez.
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts.
Aye, sir.
DA Summer Stephan, or Yoli, on behalf of Summer Stephan.
Thank you, Andrew. Aye.
Gotcha. Commissioner Villaforte.
Aye.
All right, that motion passes unanimously with those present.
Great.
All right.
All right, let's move on to our next agenda item. Agenda item 6, updated Leon Williams, San Diego County Human Relations Commission Rules of Order.
And what I'll do, Chair Nash, is I'll go ahead and share my screen. And I think most of you all know that the bylaw subcommittee also took on the rules of order, updating the rules of order. to reflect some language that's similar to what we have in the Board of Supervisors language regarding discriminatory and harassing remarks to help us be able to maintain order within our meetings. And you should have received this in email to be able to take a look. But what I want to do is read the changes out loud so everybody knows what they are. And then if it's appropriate, Chair Nash, if you'd like to have discussion and then potentially take a vote to approve these, to adopt these as the new rules of order for the commission meeting and meetings moving forward. And this is not something that needs to, this is not something that needs to go to the Board of Supervisors for approval. This is just something that your commission can adopt and have rules of order for your meetings.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All right, so I'll just start at the top. So instead of the vice chair and chair adopting and implementing, we changed it to the commissions adopt these. And then the major change comes in section 3 down here. And this is where you're talking about the discriminatory language. So the commission adopts these rules of general orders as follows and refrain from discriminatory and harassing remarks. The definition of discriminatory or harassing remarks includes legally protected speech in a board meeting that disparages an individual or group based on their perceived race, religion, sexual orientation, ethnicity, gender, disability, etc., or other hate speech that does not rise to the level of a criminal threat or inciting violence. If a commissioner makes a discriminatory or harassing remarks as defined at a meeting, the chair shall take the following actions. Read the county's policy regarding discrimination and harassment below into the record. And I'll read that in a second. State the comments inconsistent with the commission's purpose and in violation of county policy will not be condoned, and inform that the member that their language is unwanted, unwelcome, and or inappropriate, and that they interfere with the ability of those present to listen and understand. And state that any county employee who is offended or otherwise does not wish to attend due to the remarks is excused from attendance at the meeting during the remarks, and mute the offending commissioner's microphone, and the chair may call a recess to allow staff or the public to leave and or provide de-escalation. So next is the commissioner's purpose. So purpose of the commission: to promote positive human relations, respect, and the integrity of every individual, regardless of gender, religion, culture, ethnicity, sexual orientation, age, or citizenship status. And the county's policy against discrimination and harassment, and this is directly from the county's code of ethics, says the county is committed to a work environment free from unlawful discrimination and harassment, including sexual, racial, religious, age, disability, or any other form of discrimination or harassment. Now, the next section is for a member of the public. So if the member of the public says anything, right? And it's exactly the same as what we just read. And the only difference is what you see highlighted here. And this is in regards to the speaker's time. So the speaker's time will be held during the chair's admonishment, and the speaker will receive their full allotment of time unless the speaker's comments continue to disturb, disrupt, or impede the orderly conduct of the meeting, and the speaker will be allowed to continue after the admonishment. So that's the only other change within this section. So I'll just pause there. I see we have hand raised, Commissioner Roberts.
Yeah, just first of all, a nitpick. It's in your first paragraph from the definition, it says discriminatory or harassing remarks includes legally protected speech in a board meeting, and we are not a board, we are a commission. So I would ask that that word be changed to commission.
Got it.
And
there's also another typo in there that I saw too, so I'll make sure I change that from then to that. So I just put that on the record. But go ahead, Commissioner Roberts.
Well, I just like to go on record that this basically allows one individual, our chair, to make determinations about things, which is a little bit worrisome in terms of suppressing free speech, but I understand where we're going with it. And fortunately, right now, I believe Chair Nash has got the best interests at heart. So I will be quiet for a while.
Thank you, Commissioner Roberts. Not seeing any other hands up. And I don't think it, I see David Garcia. Did you just unmute? Commissioner Garcia?
Motion to approve as amended.
I second the motion. Commissioner Curry.
All right.
Sorry, can I ask a question before we vote?
Yes, you can. Is that Vice Chair Arton?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess, I know that we're probably like figuring out as being like more developed, and like this is like almost a continuation of the bylaws. And I was looking through the updates of the bylaws, so I could completely understand. I guess what I'm wondering is there any like after the person is muted and like let's say if something happens and the person like people leave the meeting and there's a call for recess and somebody takes something as like offensive, is there any room for conflict resolution or discussion? Like what happens? Because like I'm looking at it, if I take something that's offensive, the person might not have meant it the way it came across. So is there any room for reconciliation or conflict resolution?
And Chair Nash, if I may, I think to answer that question, there absolutely is. The rules of order are simply to provide procedures in the moment. But you have discretion as a commission of how you would like to debrief, so to speak. And I would definitely recommend, not just walking out of a meeting and leaving it alone, but figuring out how do we debrief and come together to heal when things like this happen. So, but I'll just put that out there.
And I'll just add that this is Commissioner Garcia. I mean, this was meant to be just for the rules of how we handle the meetings. Commissioners being disciplined or for speech or things like that, that would be handled in the bylaws section, which is different. So this is only for the rules on how we conduct the meetings and does not mean, would not conclude that somebody was guilty of something, but it just, how do we conduct the meetings?
And I see Commissioner Roberts' hand up, and I also see Commissioner Hodges. Commissioner Roberts, did you want to speak again?
Yeah, please. The question here is, and I alluded to it a minute ago, is we end up trying to define what hate speech is on the fly. And that's concerning because one person's, the interpretation is fairly fluid, for lack of a better word. And I just want us to be careful with how we implement that. So anyways, I'll be quiet. Thank you.
Commissioner Hodges, and then I see Chair Nash.
Yeah, my question is dealing with abstaining from a vote. Is there anything in the bylaws or in the additive here, if a person abstains, do they have to be asked why they abstain? Is there anything in that regard?
That really should come under Robert's Rules of Order. And that person cannot be questioned in terms of being abstained, although an abstain vote now counts as a no vote.
Correct, but is there anything written in that regard?
So, Andrew?
There's not anything in the rules of order that speaks to that, but I believe we put something like that in the bylaws, but I have to go double check. I think
Yes,
we
we did.
put something like that in the bylaws as far as Commissioner.
Yeah, it's explicitly explained in the bylaws.
Yeah. So, yes, was that Chair Nash that was speaking?
Andrew, this is Rachel Witt from County Council.
Oh, hey, Rachel.
My understanding is that the bylaws committee did include item 4 in the rules of procedure, which I believe stated that a commissioner may abstain from voting on a matter. And if a commissioner abstains from voting on a matter, the commissioner shall not be required to state the basis for that abstention. And so that was, I believe, included in the rules of order. I don't know if you can scroll down in that a little further down. There you go.
Thank you, Rachel. So glad you're here. Number 4 down there. Can you all see my screen?
Where?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Chair Nash, did you want to go ahead and speak?
I do. In your beginning opening, what it was impressed upon me was the term county employee. And if I'm not mistaken, within the context of these rules of orders, the commissioners are considered county employees.
I don't believe that's correct, but Rachel, could you chime in on that?
You could also include state that any county employee or commissioner, because there are county employees that are on the call who are administering the meeting. So to encompass everyone, you may, want to add, I mean, frankly, it's the public as well, but at the very least, you could say state that any county employee or commissioner who is offended. We can certainly add that language if the commission desires.
And you're
It's
talking about
first.
right here, right? I believe in 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so we can make that change as well. Okay, any other comments? I think we had one motion, but then it was paused to some comments.
This is the Commissioner Garcia said I'd be willing to accept the amendments.
Can we get a second?
Well, the same seconder has to approve.
Yeah, George Curry,
Thank you.
Commissioner Curry, I second that.
And Commissioner Roberts, forgive me, I did see your hand up.
I after I made my comment about the abstention thing, I haven't been able to find it in the revised bylaws. Can you tell me what code and section it is so I may verify that?
I would
About
have to
the,
take a look at the bylaw. It is in here. It's in the
In
rules
the
of order.
rules of order.
it's in the rules,
But,
okay.
but
I'm
let
sorry.
me, I would have to go and search the bylaws. I know we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about that when we get to the
Oh,
bylaws.
okay,
So
where is it in the rules of order then?
where is it? It's at the very bottom. It's number 4. It's on.
Understood. I found it, thank you.
Found it? Okay. Right. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any other comments? Okay, I will call the roll. Commissioner Anaya.
Aye.
Commissioner Arton, Vice Chair Arton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kate Chason, Commissioner Kate Clark, Commissioner Cinnamon Clark, Commissioner De Los Rios,
Aye.
Commissioner Desert,
Aye.
Commissioner Elliott Santos,
Aye.
Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Commissioner Farouk,
Aye.
Commissioner Fowler,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcias,
Aye.
Commissioner Gillies, Commissioner Griffin Jones, Commissioner Hussein,
Aye.
Commissioner Hodges,
Aye.
Commissioner Ismail,
Aye.
Commissioner Corey,
Aye.
Commissioner Legaspi,
Aye.
Edith Sanchez on behalf of Kelly Martinez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Murray Ramirez,
Aye.
Chair Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Herminia Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Roberts,
Aye, sir.
Yoli Apagui on behalf of Summer Stephen,
Aye.
Commissioner Villaforte.
Aye.
That motion passes unanimously. And those rules of order become effective immediately, Chair Nash.
Great.
But not retroactively.
That would be correct for rules of order because they're in the moment. They're in the, as you run the meeting.
Okay, let's go to agenda item 7, follow-up letter from Chair Nathan Fletcher and Vice Chair Nora Vargas of the Board of Supervisors with the subject of need of code of conduct and consequences for violations at HRC.
So Chair Nash, you wanted to discuss next steps as a follow-up to the letter. And as some of y'all know, the bylaws subcommittee led by David Garcias has been working on the bylaws and has developed a code of conduct and associated with the bylaws. And that code of conduct was sent out to the commission. And I'll pause there to see if Chair Garcias or you, Chair Nash, would like to speak.
Actually, I wanted to say that the letter that Chair Fletcher, Vice Chair Nora Vargas sent of the Board of Supervisors, we must be clear that it came from the 2 Board of Supervisors, not the entire Board of Supervisors, first of all, for this need of code of conduct and consequences for violations at HRC. So in that vein, what we have done is, as Andrew has said, the bylaws committee has taken this on, and we have received examples of code of conduct from, thank you, Commissioner Desert, for providing the sample code of conduct. We would also like to ask if any other commissioners have examples to please provide those as well. Code of conduct is not new. It applies to church settings, school settings, all sorts of settings that I'm involved in as a matter of protocol. So we agree. Thanks again to District Attorney Summer Stephan that actually initially brought the whole code of conduct to my attention. And then it was reinforced and again supported by the Board of Supervisors. So we are working on a draft of the code of conduct, which we will incorporate into the bylaws. The rules of order that we just went through really set the stage and create a template for us to use in order to create this official code of conduct. And we hope to be able to bring that back to you next month. Commissioner Garcias, our chair.
Yes, I just want to thank all the subcommittee and the bylaws subcommittee who worked very hard, and we had long hours, and we're very aware and made as much effort as possible to make sure we balanced the bylaws so that they were not too intrusive, but also reflected what we believe the commission needed and wanted. And so all those that participated in the bylaws subcommittee, thank you for all the work and making all the meetings and making sure we were all trying to stay on target and not overreach. So thank you, everybody. And I believe we did vote to add the code of conduct to the bylaws. Am I correct, Andrew?
Sorry to find the mute button. Yes, you're correct. And that was also sent out to everybody before the meeting. So everybody should have a copy of the draft bylaws and the code of conduct that is in the bylaws. I believe it's under Article 7, Section F, or sorry, Section H in the bylaws. And Madam Chair, you do have Francine Maxwell, member of the public, who would like to speak.
Okay.
All right. Good, Francine, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I won't take up much of your time. I just wanted to ask, when they're the bylaws committee, are they also making an adjustment and looking at the attendance policy? Because I'm finding that people are placed on the commission and they're getting county contracts and they're not showing up to this very important meeting. So I wanted to make sure that as you're making adjustments and amendments, that the attendance is also being reconsidered to be rewritten.
Yes, we did include that in the bylaws, and our committee was very it was very important that we address that that aspect. So yes, it is in the bylaws.
Any other comments, questions from the commissioners? Okay, great. This doesn't require a vote, does it, or anything, Andrew?
It doesn't today, and
Okay.
it's a matter of process and what you would like to do as next steps. So I did hear you say you were inviting additional input for code of conduct.
Yes, exactly.
So would you like to just take this back to the bylaws committee pending any code of conduct, and then we would bring this back to this full commission for a vote at the April meeting? Is that what I'm understanding?
That's what I would like to do, yes.
Okay.
A complete package.
This is Vice Chair Ramirez. I thought at the bylaws committee what we had was bringing it over to today's meeting for a vote. Am I mistaken? Chair Garcia?
It was I mean, it would be a decision of the commission whether to table it or to make a motion to approve the bylaws as it is. But I think it would be up to this commission what you wanted to do.
And
But
given
no, what I'm asking is, didn't the subcommittee make a decision to bring it to a vote at this meeting? Or am I mistaken on that? Because I thought the meeting ended with us saying that we would take it for a vote at this meeting.
This is Commissioner Khoury. If I recall, we decided to take it to the full commission to review and decide what they want to do with it, rather than just for us to vote for it. Am I right?
I believe, Commissioner Khoury, you're more on point regarding what we had talked about.
This is Commissioner Khoury again. I suggest that we leave it with the full commission to review at their own leisure time individually, and that the final voting on it or modification, etc., takes place in the next meeting.
Commissioner Roberts,
We have a few hands up. We have Vice Chair Arton, and then we have Commissioner Desert, Commissioner Villaforte, Commissioner and Chair Nash. So Vice Chair Arton.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. And for, thanks to the bylaws subcommittee for putting together the bylaws and the rules of order. If we had questions about the bylaws, can we go right into those? Or I had several questions, but I don't know if I should bring those up right now.
This is Chair Nash. Let me just intervene here. We're at the point on our agenda that we can move to the subcommittee discussion. And since I would love to, of course, segue into the bylaws committee report. And then, because that's where we are anyway. So let's officially turn it over to Chair Garcias. He can take us through the bylaws and all your questions and answers, period. This is our time. This is our time. This is very important and priority. So let's take it on now. Chair Garcias.
Chair Garcias, I believe you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, if you want to, Andrew, if you want to scroll to where we made any changes. And any questions? I mean, we added some language and we edited some language. We did put in language regarding organizational seats. And allowing for the commission to expand in future for organizations that may want to join. And we have a 2-year reevaluation if we want to add additional organizations. So as you can see here, we made some changes there on L, and then L, M, and N. And then also we wanted to make sure our committee was very adamant that we do a 2/3 vote for major decisions of adding or removing somebody. So having a 2/3 vote of the members present at a particular meeting. So we had several commissioners that were very adamant that it should not just be a majority, it should be a 2/3.
And I see Vice Chair Arton's hand up, Commissioner Garcias.
Yes. Commissioner?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew, and thanks, Commissioner Garcia. My first question is, so I was looking at Article 2, Section A and Section B. First of all, I'm glad to see that there's room for more organizations to be added, because I do feel like there are communities that are not represented when it comes to organizational representation on this commission. For example, like the Muslim community, the Middle Eastern community, I feel like should have seats. But I do feel like also, is there like a cap to how many organizations can be added? What if we have, like 100 commissioners? Is that something that might happen in the future? And that relates to Section B, because it does say the commission is limited to 31 members. So how do those two things go hand in hand?
I am not sure on the cap. Did we change that, Andrew? If there's a cap in there?
Oh, we did it. It says it's a 31-member commission in the bylaws. but there is no official cap. And if we're saying,
Oh,
you know, in the bylaws that you want to add or remove, you know, I would maybe defer to Rachel to see if there's any, if we need to add any clarified language around a cap in particular in there, to be clear.
Andrew, the only thing that I would note is that the Human Relations Commission was created by the Board of Supervisors pursuant to resolution, and that resolution outlines the membership. And so to the extent the commission would like to change the composition or the number, the Board of Supervisors would also need to revise their resolution. And so it's certainly possible. There just would be an additional action item the Board of Supervisors would need to take in order to accomplish that.
Thank you, Rachel. So essentially, if they decided to change, add or remove, then, you know, at that point, you need to go to the board and ask them to adopt a resolution or revise their resolution.
so that we really wanted the opportunity to be able to expand. Again, if the commission by 2/3 vote sees the need, there's that mechanism that we can do that. This'll, the bylaws, once they're approved by this commission, will need to go to the Board of Supervisors, who, once they approve our new bylaws, will give us that flexibility as well. So if we want to, is there any other questions on the that section? Okay, we can move to the next. So again, if we do remove someone, and this was for section D, if a vacancy does come up, and we'll go to define in section G, but again, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just a simple majority that made that decision, that it was 2/3 of the members present at a meeting. So if we can move to the next item. This is for subcommittees. This talks about the, if members are, do not attend or have an unexcused absence, the incumbent, the commissioner, will be allowed 2 excused absences over the duration of the ad hoc committee, or 2 excused absences per year for standing subcommittees. An excused absence will be granted if the incumbent provides the notice of an absence to the staff at least 24 hours prior to the start of the meeting, except if there is an emergency. If the members meet the stated criteria, the member may be removed from the subcommittee and or ad hoc committee at the discretion of the subcommittee and or ad hoc subcommittee. So this is one of those sections where we wanted to address when members were not attending the subcommittees. If we can move to the next.
I see Chair Nash, I see your hand up. Did you want to speak to any of these right now?
I really would like to just put an emphasis on section D. We are 31 plus commission, 31 commission. And I'm concerned that the same commissioners, and I thank you all very much, are showing up to these subcommittee meetings. And this language, I appreciate this language because it does speak to my frustration as chair that we need all the commissioners to participate in these subcommittee meetings. Pick one. I know our time is stretched, but if you could pick one that really speaks and resonates with you, your voice, your expertise is very, very important. And this is where the work really gets done. in terms of moving our agenda with regard to promoting positive human relations in all sorts of different spaces. And I don't have to go through the subcommittee titles, you all know. So this language really gives us some teeth, but it really came out of frustration that our full commission body, we all need to pick one subcommittee and adhere to Section D. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is Section G. This deals with the results if someone violates one of the rules of the bylaws, or any commissioner may be publicly censured or removed from the commission by a 2/3 vote for substantial neglect of duty, gross misconduct, engaging in disparaging and or derogatory communication or direct action, inability to discharge the powers and duties of office, or violation of the commissioner's code of conduct. Again, we wanted to make sure that it was a 2/3 vote. And 2/3 vote is defined as a vote by the commissioners present at a meeting when or where the vote takes place. We wanted to make sure it was clear of the intent that if we have a meeting and we agendize this item, a 2/3 vote could remove somebody from the commission, or have a public censure where it would be a disciplinary type action. And then a public censure is defined as a formal statement of a disapproval from the chair and vice chairs of the commission. And then Section H would be the code of conduct. It was very clear from our county council that it did need to be in the bylaws, that it was preferable. So I won't read through the whole code of conduct, but again, thank you to everyone who has worked on these code of conduct. It was brought to us, we were able to edit it, and each commissioner weighed in very carefully on what we wanted to see in the code of conduct to make sure that, again, that it was balanced.
And I'll just add this, that item 3 down there, refraining from discriminatory remarks, is the same language that's in the rules of order.
Thank you. And then these, I guess the last 2 sections of the code of conduct are the conducting of the commission business and reviewing the actions and recommendations. So any questions on the code of conduct? Okay, you could move down. That's it.
That's it.
So again,
Andrew, are you the point of contact now, or is Claudia Silva still?
No, it's Claudia. I'm giving it back to her. No, it's just me. It's definitely me.
You might want to make that revision.
Thank you for that. And I see we have Commissioner Desert, we have Commissioner Harton, and we have Commissioner Fowler.
Thank you so much to the members of the bylaw subcommittee for all of your work. Just want to honor and appreciate your labor and your thoughtfulness here in striking the right balance. Wondering if there's any reason we couldn't move forward today, given the urgency of this issue, to accept these changes and take a vote on the code of conduct. That would be my suggestion.
I think it takes a motion. So if you want to be the maker of the motion.
I would be honored to be the maker of the motion. Thank you, Chair Garcia.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded that motion?
Anaya.
Thank you. And we have Commissioner Warsan Arton and Commissioner Fowler.
Thanks, Andrew. Sorry, I have few questions still. One is actually on, not to go back, but I'm gonna go back. On the attendance. I'm honestly not sure how many people are right now on the commission. I'm not sure if everyone was appointed by the supervisors. I'm wondering if in a future meeting, if we can get an update of how many people we officially have on the commission, just so we're clear on that and like what positions are available or like unappointed, just so we're all clear on that. Again, not to kind of go back. And then on the code of conduct, I'm wondering what the difference between, give me 1 second, hold on. On one section, it talks about, on section G, it talks about disparaging and derogatory communication or direct action. And then it talks about discriminatory and harassing, discriminatory and harassing remarks. What is the difference, and couldn't we use the same language in section H and G? Because in my opinion, I feel like disparaging and derogatory is a bit like up to interpretation, where discriminatory based on the identified identities is more straightforward.
Can you go to that section, Andrew?
I'm sorry, what section was that again?
I think it was, I think she was talking about the code of conduct, the discriminatory.
Yeah, section G and H.
Was it G or, I'm sorry, which section was it again?
Yeah, so section G says, states a person may be removed from the commission if they make disparaging and derogatory communication or direct action. And then on section H, it states that somebody may be held accountable. Let me scroll up. Yeah, it talks about harassing and discriminatory remarks. And I'm wondering if we can use the same language in H in G, because I feel like derogatory and disparaging, in my opinion, can be up to interpretation.
I mean, it could, in here, it could say, I mean, you could refer to the code of conduct. Well, it's already referring.
It's already there.
Yeah. So I don't know if it seems a little duplicative to have it in there. Can we get county council? Can you weigh in on this?
Engaging in disparaging and derogatory.
I mean, certainly at the commission's direction, they can provide feedback, which can be considered, you know, ideally how the commission would like to present the bylaws.
I mean, I don't know if it's, it is up to interpretation, but again, the interpretation would be by the whole commission or by the vote of the members to determine whether it was that threshold. And
Commissioner Garcia, I think that's my question. What would the threshold be? Would that be the code of conduct in section H?
yes, well, if somebody were to, and this is my impression is that if someone were to make a disparaging or derogatory communication, and someone someone wanted them removed from the commission, they would have to take it to the commissioners, and then the commissioners would have to weigh whether they met that threshold or not. So if you felt it didn't meet that threshold, you would vote no. If a person did feel it met that threshold, they would vote yes. And I'd like to let, I think there's other hands, and Commissioner Roberts, who was on the subcommittee, may want to answer this as well.
And if I could just chime in as far as the hands that are raised, we have Commissioner Desert, we have Commissioner Fowler, Commissioner Hodges, and Commissioner Roberts.
I'm sorry, my hand was a holdover. Go ahead.
Okay, good.
Apologies.
No worries. Commissioner Fowler.
Thank you. I'd like to just thank everyone for their participation in this body and this commission, and I think it's an honor and a privilege to serve. However, I would like just to point out a couple of things just from observations that I've had, is that being a lifelong resident of the city of San Diego and being a person who has worked and made it to retirement, and as a labor leader, I can tell you that, as I'm aware, this is a volunteer effort as far as the people that serve on this. And you know, one thing I don't want us to come across as a little bit of elitism in what we're doing, because I would consider anyone fortunate that's still working every day, that has the ability to interrupt their workday to participate in this, or being able to still work from home under the current pandemic situation, where they can get on this meeting and stay on for a couple hours and then go back to whatever they're doing in the course of a workday. However, let me be the first one to tell you that, as a person who has a retirement check coming on and been a lifelong San Diego resident, I still have to go out there and find means of income. So I'm not available to always participate. And when I first retired, I'm coming up on a year. So I was able to participate more freely. And you know, economically, there may be some people or other commissioners that do not have the ability to participate in the middle of a day on a regular basis. And so I just want to make sure that we're conscious of the fact that living in San Diego County, and me particularly, I live in the city of San Diego. We're one of the most expensive cities in the country now for housing and a lot of other stuff. And I can tell you that, as a person who's fortunate enough to have a residence, it's still very difficult to make ends meet. So I just want to make sure that we're conscious of that also. And the other comment was about discipline. The term discipline to me means that you discipline somebody who is working for you. And if we're in a volunteer basis on a commission, I don't know. You know, I guess we got a couple of attorneys on the call that can decipher that. But anyway, those are my comments. Thank you.
Commissioner Hodges.
So we're getting ready to vote on the addition, this addendum to our board, to the bylaws, correct? When does this take effect? When do these rules take effect?
So the rules will take effect whenever the board approved them. So the action you'll be taking when you vote on this will be to move it to the Board of Supervisors to vote on and approve the bylaws. And we also are checking to see if we need to actually draft a resolution as well, due to the change in the name of one of the organization's seats. So, but it would take effect once the board approved it.
Once the board approves it. Okay, all right. I kind of wanted to revisit that that abstention, that abstaining vote. If a person abstains on their vote, that doesn't mean that they're saying nothing derogatory in their abstention, correct? In abstaining from the
That's
vote.
correct. That is correct.
Okay.
And they are not required to
respond.
To respond if
Right.
somebody is asked.
Okay.
Commissioner Roberts.
Okay, figure out how to turn my mute back off. Three things. One, when this becomes effective at the point of time that the Board of Supervisors approves it, we cannot apply it retroactively. That is correct? That's a question for you, Andrew.
That's
And
a question for
and
county council.
county
Thank
council.
you. Yeah. So yeah, I think that she might be, county council is still kind of reviewing to make sure.
Well, that kind of makes it against the Constitution where the de facto law
Yeah,
whole thing
that
comes
kind
in.
of thing.
The second comment was, and I agree with Vice Chair Wharton in one respect, in that we are actually duplicating in section G. We're talking about disparate because we added this in layers. I think what we can do is remove the engaging in disparaging and derogatory communication, and just refer to the violation of the commission's code of conduct, where it actually addresses all those things instead of calling it out individually and then trying to call it out individually again with a little bit different amplification. So I'd actually think that we should remove that portion of the sentence that says engaging in disparaging and or derogatory communication or direct action. Take that out, leave inability to discharge the powers and duty of the office or in violation, add in violation of the commissioner's code of conduct. And then all that is explained down in section A in the code of conduct. So those are my comments. But I guess I should ask the motion maker, Commissioner Dizzard, to accept an amended motion.
Commissioner Cinnamon Clark.
Absolutely. Good morning. So I had a couple of comments just to tie it all together for myself. The first thing is the vote. Is it possible, Andrew, if we just sit on this and be able to vote at our next meeting so that we can take in all of the amendments and all of the things that we've discussed here today? Maybe have a closeout date for additions after this meeting and be poised to vote on the actual acceptance of the bylaws by next meeting. And that kind of leads me into a couple of other things. As far as the same thing that Commissioner Fowler said, the time and location considerations. As mentioned, I work full time. I have a very demanding schedule, and 2 hours in the middle of the day is very challenging for me personally, right? And there are some times that I have to drop off or not come in or whatever. But I think some considerations should be made for that, for all of the reasons that Commissioner Fowler had mentioned. And I don't know if that's alternating evening meetings or something like that, but some other considerations to be a little more inclusive of those folks. I see Commissioner Roberts in her car, so this is a heavy lift. And I think that some of the recommendations may be a little heavy-handed, but with justification, no big deal. Also, back to section G and H, I think that it could be subjective, just like Commissioner Warson said. We're talking about facts versus feelings, and if somebody feels as though they were transgressed upon, that's one thing. But if it's outlined as it is in the discrimination type language that we have, I think in section H, I think that will eliminate that facts versus feelings, how people feel versus what the actual facts are. And then lastly, this is probably like the 6th time I've asked for it, the subcommittee list. It's challenging to decipher where I'm supposed to be and how I'm supposed to be there because the emails and the invitations come out for everything. Is it possible to get a subcommittee listing so that we know where we are? Either we volunteered, I found myself on a committee that I wasn't even supposed to be a part of, to eliminate that confusion and to also encourage the commissioner participation. That's all that I have. Subcommittee or the bylaws subcommittee, thank you so much for all of your hard work and all of the things that you all have done to bring this before us today. And I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's all that I have.
Commissioner Desert.
Commissioner, you're on mute.
Apologies. Following up on Commissioner Clark's comments, I would be in favor of rotating some evening meetings to make our time here more accessible for folks who have less flexibility in their work schedules. Just a say in that. I think that's important. And thank you, Commissioner Clark, for bringing that up. In terms of section G, common in documents like this, bylaws, to have a section describing something and then a section below it describing it in more detail. So I think section G, particularly talking about the need for a 2/3 vote for censure or for removal, describing that to be a high bar to Chair Garcias's comment, making sure it's a high bar both by the vote and the way it's described for substantial neglect of duties. That shouldn't be for a minor comment, a misspeak in which you apologize after. We're saying this is for very serious things, engaging in disparaging or derogatory communication or direct action, or a violation of the code of conduct. So the or makes it separate. So I hear Commissioner Roberts' feedback. I respect it. I respectfully disagree. I think that's important. A code of conduct shouldn't apply retroactively to things that happened in the past, but the ability to remove or to censure someone would for actions that occurred in the past. I'll give a really extreme example. If we were to pass this code of conduct today, but learned that a commissioner, really was convicted of a very serious thing, a sexual abuse of a minor, and that sex act happened before we passed the code of conduct, the gross nature of that would empower the commission to remove as soon as we were made aware of that. So I just want to separate out the code of conduct may not apply retroactively, but the power of the commission to remove a member by a 2/3 vote for very serious things would. So that's just my comment there. I would be in favor of keeping section G as is.
And I think I see Commissioner or Vice Chair Murray Ramirez hand up. Is that accurate or is that an artifact?
Yes, it's accurate.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. And I say this with all due respect to my fellow commissioners. We heard the public comment this morning. There's a lot going on concerning our commission. There's a lot of eyes watching this commission and how we're handling, I think we know, a certain situation. We had a Union Tribune editorial concerning this commission and a code of conduct. We've also had voice and viewpoint, and this continues to be an issue. It is a serious issue concerning a code of conduct. And I think that this vote needs to be taken. And I agree with Commissioner Desert about leaving that and think this is not going away and it's building. And I can see in another month some more articles and some more. This is damaging our commission. And it is. And it also, you all need to know, there is a commissioner on this commission that is suffering through this, that has been traumatized through this. And that you also have a community, an LGBTQ community and its allies that are very hurt and upset over this. This is not just about feelings. This is about condemning someone to hell. And it continues. The statements are continuing. The interviews are continuing. And so I know it's difficult. It's nothing that we ever thought we would face, but here it is. And I do believe that all of you know how serious this is. And we need to, this is a cloud hanging over this commission. And it's a dark cloud. Thank you.
Are there any other hands up? See no more discussion, we can call the vote. So Andrew, if you could do the roll call vote. Oh, based on the motion from Commissioner Zert.
I believe the motion was to accept the bylaws and code of conduct as amended.
Correct.
Did we have a second? If not, I'll second the motion.
I think there was a second.
It was second
That
by
was I.
Commissioner Naya. Yeah.
I thought Pedro seconded.
All right, not seeing any other hands, we'll call the vote. Commissioner Naya,
Aye.
Commissioner Arton,
Same.
I'm sorry, did you say abstain?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Chason, Kate Chason,
Apologies, it's loud where I am. I'm also going to abstain, but just because I wasn't here for the discussion.
Commissioner Kate Clark, Commissioner Cinnamon Clark,
Commissioner Cinnamon Clark. Also,
I'm sorry, abstain. If you're not speaking,
that's
could you go on
correct,
mute, please?
abstaining.
Thank you. Commissioner De Los Rios,
Aye.
Commissioner Desert,
Aye.
Commissioner Elliott Santos,
Aye.
Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Commissioner Farouk,
Abstain.
Commissioner Fowler,
I'm going to oppose.
Commissioner Garcias,
Aye.
Commissioner Gillies, Commissioner Griffin Jones, Commissioner Hussein,
Abstain.
Commissioner Hodges,
Abstain.
Commissioner Ismail,
Aye.
Commissioner Corey,
Aye.
Commissioner Legaspi,
Aye.
Acting Sheriff Kelly Martinez. Edith
Abstain.
Sanchez Cruz, abstain. Commissioner Murray Ramirez, Vice Chair Murray Ramirez, okay, we'll come back to you. I see you.
Aye.
Okay. Chair Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Perez, Commissioner Herminia Ramirez, Commissioner Herminia Ramirez, Commissioner
Aye.
Robert, oh, aye,
Yes, aye.
okay. Commissioner Roberts, Commissioner Roberts,
Abstain. I'd like to see it go to committee one more, for one more pass.
Yoli Appletugui,
Aye.
Summer Stefan, Commissioner Villaforte.
Aye.
Okay, let me tally the votes. So, 9, 10, 14. That motion passes. 14 members voting aye. 4, 5, 6, 8 abstentions and 1 in opposition.
Thank you, everybody. And again, this is going to be a living document that we'll constantly be looking back on. And but at this point, it'll move forward to the Board of Supervisors for their review and approval. Back to Chair Nash.
Thank you, Chair Garcias, for chairing the bylaws subcommittee, and also all of the subcommittee members. You put in a lot of time. You met weekly. The original initiation of the bylaws itself in my layman's terms, was just basically thrown together in order to launch this commission. We were already having issues around attendance. So the subcommittee bylaws committee was in motion, even at that time. I'm excited that we have created bylaws that align with our mission statement, which was also under creation at the time the commission was put together. So we're in sync by creating these bylaws. As Chair Garcia has said, bylaws, as we all know, because most of us serve in nonprofits and other organizations, bylaws are a living, breathing document that is always under review, always under the opportunity to update. Many of the issues that have been raised by the commissioners will be evaluated. The subcommittee is not going anywhere anytime soon. I would encourage all of you to participate in the bylaw subcommittee, share your concerns with the subcommittee members so that the bylaws, if appropriate, can be addressed. And again, I just want to thank the bylaws subcommittee for all their work in bringing those bylaws to an official vote by this commission. I would now want to move on to the other, it's 11:30. So we have
interrupting, Chair Nash. I'm so sorry for interrupting. May I just ask a point of clarification about when the Board of Supervisors will schedule the vote? What's the next step in this process before we move on?
So the next step, Commissioner Desert, is for our office of Correctional Justice to put together a board letter that's going to go to the board, I believe, at the next board meeting. And I forget what day it is. Rachel, if you might know, I think it might be April 5th. Does that sound right? Let's see. Yep, I was right, April 5th. So that's the plan, is to have that at the next board meeting on April 5th, knowing that it's a really short turnaround time between now and then. It might be pushed until the next meeting in April, but we'll keep you posted on that, depending on the docketed schedule, but it will go in April.
Thank you so much. Apologies, Chair Nash. Back to you.
Thank you.
No problem. Sometimes I don't look at my hands up. So let's move on to the next subcommittee reports. I think we have our, let's see, our policies and procedures. Our chair there is Warsan, Vice Chair Warsan. Could you bring us up to date on the policies and procedures? Thank you.
Thanks, Chair Nash. On the policies and procedures subcommittee, in our two previous meetings, we had speakers. In one of our last meetings, we heard from the Racial Justice Coalition of San Diego, who presented on what is happening with our local jails and the deaths on the jails and how that situation is going. And then the last meeting we had Mr. Paul from CLERP answer some of the questions that the subcommittee had in regards to the duties and policies of CLERP and what they can and cannot do. At the moment, we are in the process of just learning and gathering more information on county policies and procedures, specifically on certain departments. Yeah, that's all I have. If anyone else who's part of the subcommittee wants to add, please feel free to do so.
And Chair Nash, I see Vice Chair Murray Ramirez's hand is up. I'm not sure if he wants to speak to that or something else, or if that's an artifact. Vice Chair?
Yeah,
I think you went back on mute. Oh, here you go.
Yes, I had pressed my button and stuff. I guess the chair didn't see it. Back to Commissioner Desert's question on the scheduling. Chairman Fletcher made it very clear to me and in a conversation that he would like this as soon as possible, that our letter requesting these changes. So I would urge us to get that letter to him so he can put it and put it in the agenda on the 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Ramirez. Any other comments about our policies and procedures? I want to bring it to your attention, though, with regard to the jail deaths, and the executive director of CLERB did attend the policies and procedures. The policies and procedures has made this jail deaths a priority. In fact, the Racial Coalition wanted to be on our call today. However, they were actually attending the Board of Supervisors meeting today. I don't know if that's a special meeting or not, but to talk about the selection of the new acting leader of the organization, and also asking and requesting the Attorney General steps in to run the jails, given the fact there's been 4 additional deaths after that state audit came out. So it's very clear that as community members, we should be asking for the same, as the commission asking for the same, for the Attorney General to step in temporarily to actually supervise and oversee our jails, given the significance of 4 additional deaths, which lead to no confidence by the community in the deputy sheriff system. On to the next. Oh, I see there's a hand. Is there a hand up?
Yes, this Commissioner Ramirez.
Yes.
I don't know if this is the place to bring this up, but I'm very concerned, and I do have good relationships with our sheriff and our district attorney, and I respect them both, our acting sheriff. But it definitely concerns me that when we have important votes or votes and they have a representative, they usually abstain. And knowing some of these votes and knowing these individuals, I believe they would have supported the motion. My concern is, why does the sheriff and the district attorney, are we allowed to send representatives, each of the commissioners, if we can't attend a meeting? Because I kind of find it a little disrespectful to each of us commissioners. I certainly realize that the district attorney and the sheriff are very busy and at work, but so are many of us commissioners. And is there a way that we can put that? It's turning out to be, and I give my respects to the district attorney Summer, who basically attends a lot of the meetings, but we're going to be in a situation where there's going to be some important votes, as I believe we just did one today, where we will have consistently the representatives, and understandably so, abstaining. I recall when, and I think many of you who have been on this commission, when there was an issue with Sheriff Gore and he had sent a representative and his representative abstained. And then Sheriff Gore quickly, we got to him, had it changed to a yes vote. I mean, I don't understand, and I would like a clarification. Can we as commissioners also send representatives when we can't attend commission meetings? Thank you.
And thank you for that question. I'm not sure this is the appropriate time for discussion, since this wasn't something that was agendized, but Rachel, I'm not sure if you want to chime in on the representative piece, or if that needs to go on an agenda for discussion.
Well, and in all due respect, what I'm concerned about is that Chairman Nash brought up something I think we're all concerned about, and that's the situations that are happening at the jail. And I would like the acting sheriff to answer.
This is Commissioner Khoury. By the way, today is the day I think a new interim sheriff is going to be declared by the Board of Supervisors. So at this time, at least, the sheriff department is headless.
If I can add, Andrew, is that okay?
Yes.
Yes. So yes, George, Corey, the Board of Supervisors did make a selection. I was going to share this towards the end as an update, but we will have an interim sheriff, Tony Ray, and that would be Kelly Martinez will return to her role as an undersheriff. And Ramirez, if you did want to, the sheriff to come specifically to talk about any of that, again, we're always open to further discuss. Again, if we add it to the agenda, then we can make sure we prepare. And lastly, I don't know if there was I was trying to look to see in the chat or if I can share the link on the updates for the JLAC report and the recommendations that we are currently working on. Is that something that maybe could be sent out? And should I send that to you, Andrew or Miss Ellen Nash, to share with the committee?
You can send it to us, to me, and I'll send it to Ross, and we'll make sure we get it out to everybody.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will certainly agendize Vice Chair Murray Marrera's the commission and the designees. That is of concern.
So, and I'm sorry,
that
I'm sorry, Chair Nash. I just got an update from Rachel. She was feverishly checking the bylaws to see what it said as it relates to that. And the sheriff and the DA specifically have a designee, and no one else does. And that's designated in the bylaws. So
absolutely. Again, living, breathing document in terms of our bylaws that we will also have to revisit that particular issue that was raised by Vice Chair Murray Ramirez. So definitely it's on the radar.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the our public safety subcommittee.
Good morning, everyone. This is Estela de los Rios, the chair for the public safety. As you all know, this is a #1 topic, seems to be in every committee and in our region due to the audit. As you all know, we've been exploring what the issues are in regards to public safety, what resources we have. And so we've had many presentations. The last one was in regards to the mobile crisis team. We also had the County of San Diego Alternatives to Incarceration Initiatives give a presentation. And we also welcome back Andrea Guerrero from Alliance San Diego to give a follow-up on the Border Patrol obstruction of justice and the local use of force. So right now we're exploring what public safety issues are, aside from what we've already heard, the Sheriff's Department and audit and so forth. We want to see if we can rebuild some trust or the trust with community and law enforcement. This is why we have this committee. Our next meeting is going to be April 4th, and we're going to continue our conversation. I welcome the committee members to please join us to have a rich conversation roundtable to see what the issues are and bring back a report to the general committee. Thank you. Any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner De Los Rios. And we'll move on to the ad hoc strategic planning subcommittee. And then there is some of the agenda items that overlap with communications. So if we could also talk about the strategic planning piece of our subcommittee. Andrew, do you have the summary of the PowerPoint? I know Sam sent me a great presentation.
I do not have it up. I can see if I can find it real quick if you want me to pull it up.
Okay.
Second. I think that might have been something he sent directly to you, Chair Nash. So are you looking for a summary of what you all spoke about?
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Here. Okay. Let me find it here. Sam. The strategic planning subcommittee has been meeting very often. And we've been actually collapsing a lot of the feedback from the community town hall meetings, as well as other individuals that we've received feedback. And we've identified three areas, community of concerns. Number one, be the voice for the voiceless, ensure accessibility to everybody, be present in the community, and we combine that. And we really focus on this, and this is where the overlap is, that and the other one is to assure accessibility to programs and resources. Not all youth know or have access to career opportunities, hold an annual forums to hear from diverse communities. But the underlying factor with our strategic plan is that communications is really important. And what we spoke about, and really that's really thanks to Commissioner Naya brought it to our attention, is the importance of assigning or hiring a public information officer, possibly as an independent contractor through the county, to help us really get our communications strategic plan articulated and communicated with the public. We're not professionals, but the theme of our strategic plan is really around communication, keeping our communities engaged, keeping them involved, keeping them aware of what's going on by using professional services like a public information officer that can talk about things including social media and newsletters. As Commissioner Murray Ramirez said, this commission is under the microscope. The media is watching us, the public is watching us, and we're dealing with issues of importance to our community that need to be, and we're all professionals in our own right, and we need to be represented and provided with professional tools that will help us communicate with our constituents in our community, our San Diego County community, in a very professional manner. So at this point, our strategic planning overlaps with communications, because everything that we do in our strategic plan pretty much is around engaging our community, informing our community, and bringing them up to speed on what we're doing as a Human Relations Commission. I hear at times that the Human Relations Commission is not doing anything. I hear other times that we're doing a wonderful job, but we need to tell our story. The story of how we've put together these bylaws, the story about how we're responding to jail deaths, the story, all of the stories, our journey here, because we are the founding members of a commission that is hopefully going to last a lifetime here in San Diego County. And as we go through this, the challenges that we're having in our county, the challenges we're having in our state and nationally, who would imagine that we would be asking our AG, Attorney General, to come in and oversee our jails because of the reports of ongoing deaths in the jail. Who would have imagined that this commission would be in this space at this time? And so that's the challenge that we're facing as our strategic subcommittee, and it overlaps tremendously with our communications. Commissioner Naya, do you have anything else to add if you're still on the call? If not, we'll move on to our youth commission, our subcommittee, our youth commission on. Commissioner. Hassan? She's still here?
I'm on today. Hello. So I can provide some quick updates. We decided as the youth subcommittee that we wanted to focus on a main project being planning a youth congress to happen sometime during 2023. So that will be getting a collection of youths around San Diego County all together to discuss various policy issues and then drafting policy procedures based on those issues and then presenting them to, I believe, to the Board of Supervisors as a policy package. So that would be a multiple day event. So currently we're in the very early stages of planning that event. Thanks to the help of Commissioner Anaya, who has run this program in the past. So he gave us a lot of great starting points to jump off from with that project. But the biggest thing that we are dealing with right now is the fact that there are only 3 out of 5 youth appointees on the commission. So our subcommittee only has the 3 of us that are the supervisorial appointees for our districts. So we're asking every commissioner, especially the commissioners that are part of organizations that have a lot of youth engagement, to reach out to the youth in the geographic districts where we still need those supervisorial representatives. So I believe it's District 1 and District 3 where we will need youth representatives. So if you are part of an organization that works with youth, or if you know of some youths that live in District 1 and District 3 between the ages of 16 and 24 that you think would be really qualified candidates for the commission, please feel free to reach out, send an email, either to the chair, to Andrew, to other county staff that works with our commission, just so that we want to make this process as easy as possible for the county supervisors to be able to appoint their youths to the subcommittee. Yeah, that's all for the youth subcommittee, but I see Commissioner Corey has his hand up.
Yes, thank you. This is Commissioner Corey. I had provided 3 names in the past to the staff to go ahead and contact 3 different organizations to be able to include on the youth subcommittee. They are not, and they are from different areas, and that's why I'd like to know the exact right now, if they have been contacted, if they responded, if they refused, whatever.
So I wasn't aware of that. Andrew, I don't know, you unmuted for a second if you want to answer.
Yeah, we contacted them and we have not heard back from those organizations yet. So if
you haven't heard back from them?
Yeah, so if you would like to contact and maybe give me a specific person to contact of those organizations.
What I provided is 3 specific names in the organization to be contacted with their mobile numbers. And that's what I'm wondering if they were contacted, because I saw some of them yesterday during the House of Palestine in Balboa Park, and they indicated they were not contacted. That's why I'm asking. Could you do me a favor, please? Just send me the names of all the organizations you contacted and I'll follow up. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Arton?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. On February 2nd, we received the email that's what is the commission that talked about if anyone wanted to apply to serve to apply for the youth seat vacancy. And I shared that with multiple young people that I know. And I'm wondering, is there any update on, like, did anyone apply, fill out the application to serve? How many people have filled out that application, or do we have 0 people who have applied?
We've had 1 person apply over the past month. So yeah, we haven't seen any other applications. I'm supposed to get alerts as soon as those folks apply, but we haven't gotten any. So
okay, that's good to know. Okay, should we continue to share that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we also have Francine Maxwell, Chair Nash, who has her hand up from a member of the public. I'm not sure if I wanna allow her to speak.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to ask, you made a comment that the community can ask questions or outreach to the commissioners. So is there a form that people can fill out? Because I'm curious with public safety and Chief Neslight giving his report with 73% increase in hate crimes. Is that something that's on the agenda? What is the proper process for the community to ask questions and find out? Because we can't make a lot of the meetings because they don't rotate, pursuant to people's calendar. So is there some type of form or something that we can submit to the commission? Thank you.
Well, there's several ways. Again, attending a public comment during our full commission meetings, of course, and then also attending our subcommittee meetings. The public is definitely invited to attend those subcommittee meetings. And of course, emailing myself. I'm always available via email, and also the Office of Equity. And I believe there's also a public comment form on our website that one can use as well. So any of those avenues are definitely available. We welcome all public comment. Rome wasn't built overnight. We need as much input as we can from everybody in order to make this commissioner to live up to its mission, which is to promote positive human relations. Youth Commission, I have one young man, precious young man, he's 15 years old, very active in the community, and can't wait till he turns 16 in April to apply for the Human Relations Commission. I've met with him for coffee and he's very excited, comes with some highly recommended credentials for a 15-year-old. So as soon as April, his birthday hits us April, I think he texted me the other day, April 5th, he will be applying to the commission. Let's just get the word out that that this youth commission has information. I also want to acknowledge that Kate Chashin was given an award by the Generation Justice Youth Summit a couple of weeks ago, and asked me for a name, and I immediately highly recommended Kate Chasen. So I want to congratulate you on your award, Kate. Thank you for all your work that you do in promoting positive human relations in San Diego County.
Thank you so much, Chair Nash, for nominating me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chair, it's 11:54. I know we still have the award subcommittee if they want to get a report out, in the legislative subcommittee. Oh, you're on mute, Chair Nash.
I'm sorry. I attended the awards subcommittee meeting, and I'm just really excited about, first of all, we're going to get started sooner than later and not wait 30 days out. But the most important news, I want to make sure I heard that there is a possibility of adding a meeting planner. I'm sorry, an event planner. That came up, an event planner to the awards committee. That was a heavy lift. And so I'm excited that there is a possibility of adding a meeting planner to the awards commission so we can take it to the next level. I don't know what level that can be, but we have our own commissioner, Mary Ramirez, and I'm sure Commissioner Nicole has some great ideas in mind for our next awards, our awards ceremony that will happen in December. Any report from the legislative subcommittee?
And we have two hands up. We have Commissioner Corey and Commissioner Legaspi.
Great.
I think you're on mute, Commissioner Corey.
Okay, unmute. Thank you for unmuting me. I wanted to let everybody know that yesterday was a wonderful day for us, the Middle Easterns, especially in the Middle East. We recognize the 21st of March as Mother's Day. And to all you mothers and to all the mothers that you know, we wish you the best Mother's Day in the world. It's a day late, but happy Mother's Day. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Corey. Commissioner Legaspi?
Yes, Madam Chair, I don't see my name on the awards committee. That's why maybe I'm not getting the notifications of meeting. I joined that committee last year. the
Yeah, you
annual-
did. We'll make sure you get those announcements. I'm not
And
sure.
second,
But if they
Second,
follow
I
up.
would like to thank and congratulate Commissioner Garcias for the good leadership we had on the bylaws ad hoc committee, and to all the members. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Legaspi. Any other comments?
Yes, this is Commissioner Ramirez. First of all, I want to congratulate Commissioner, talking about Mother's Day, Commissioner Dessert on her upcoming motherhood. And definitely, I'm sure we all wish her the best. And also, I want all of you to know, I think many don't know that our chair is going through a lot with the issues facing this commission, handling the media, having interviews, and getting a lot of, I would say, negative and obviously some positive. So I want to thank you. I know you're in a difficult situation as our chair, and I know that you are handling this as best as you can, and you're doing a good job. And I know that we all appreciate your work and leadership.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vice Chair. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I follow your lead. While we just have a couple of minutes, I want to lift up all women on this call during Women's History Month. All women on this call. Women History Month, we are historic. We have elevated our voices on this commission in a way that is historic. We're founding members of this Leon Williams Human Relations Commission. And I just want to lift up the voices of all women that are on this call during Women's History Month. And we thank you and we honor all of you. You're all great leaders in your own right. And we just wanted to point out during Women's History Month that we appreciate you and we honor you. Thank you so much.
And we have Vice Chair Arton's hand is up.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. First, I second Commissioner or my fellow Vice Chair, Mary Ramirez. Thanks, Ellen, for your leadership. Two things that I want to point out. First, next month is Ramadan. For the Muslim community, we fast from dawn to dusk. Super excited month for us. As we also talk about absences and the bylaws, I do want to highlight that if there are meetings in the evening, to have a bit of patience, I guess, or lenience for the Muslim community, as we will be fasting all day and preparing to break our fast in the evening. I know that the Policy and Procedures Subcommittee, for example, meets in the evening. I will be contacting you all about that individually, but I just wanted to point that out. Super excited. I also chair, I think we skipped the Legislative Subcommittee. If I may give a quick update on that.
Yes. Yes.
Really quickly, the Legislative Subcommittee is working with the County Office of Strategy and International Affairs. I think the main things is that we will be receiving legislative updates from the office before our each monthly meeting and for the subcommittee to review. The County of San Diego also has a policy platform on their website, or the legislative program on their website. So if any of the HRC members wanted to identify bills that they're interested in and wanted to give comments on that, that's more than welcome. If there are any urgent bills that we need to give our feedback on, we are asking that the HRC require or gives the subcommittee the authority to take positions on those particular bills. So that's our ask for the HRC today, is to allow the legislative subcommittee to take action on any urgent bills that come to us from the Office of Strategy and Intergovernmental Affairs. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Chair Warton, does that need an action today? Or are you making a recommendation? I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
I think since that's not agendized, but it is a legislative subcommittee,
Yeah.
you could take an action if you need it.
Let's not take action. Let's not take action today. It is 12:01. Let's put it on the agenda for next month for sure. Okay. I would like to say great meeting. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next month, if not sooner. Take care. Meeting adjourned.